And we're back for round three, game one. Uh, Reptar's Desert Adventure, aka Mammox 45, aka the CTO, versus Low Punny and the Simps. And gonna send them the all clear, and we can start.
I'm curious to see if Low Bunny and the Sims is going to be doing anything to clear out the uh, obvious hazards and weather on the opposite team here, and how he's going to counteract that.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think seeing Zapdos, that's a pretty normal defogger. However, Hydreigon is one we haven't seen him bring before. I think it was one of his pickups in the off week, so interested to see how that's going to play as well.
These leads are actually quite interesting. I don't know what's on the Arcanine, but if I have a feeling it could actually have Play Rough, a fairy move that would be super effective against this Dark Ghost type Sableye, its only weakness.
Yeah,
Curious to
that's
see how that goes.
it could do that. I could also see a stab flare blitz just being a good call here because he can't be burned, and that's one of the core things the Sableye likes to do with the Will-O-Wisp.
Indeed. Can't drop an attack if he can't be burned.
It looks like the CTO is having some lag issues, so he is trying to rejoin the battle here, as is tradition. And he will have to Mega Evolve this Sableye, and he's back and does. So he uses Protect to scout, and I like that move. But oh, the
Oh, that's a
Arcanine sub is a great prediction there.
fantastic prediction. Sableye doesn't have a whole lot of stay power when it comes to physical attack or to go ahead and break this substitute, so he'd have to have quite a powerful attack that'd be able to break this in order to get back into the hitting that Arcanine directly.
And I'm kind of interested how it interacts, though, if he was running a move such as Foul Play here. Because he has the Intimidate, and there's the knockoff, but yeah, not gonna do enough damage there to get through the substitute.
But the Arcanine now is locked into Outrage for at least one or two more turns and will be confused after. Great switch into the Steel type to resist it.
The Steel type, the physical wall, and it looks like a Rocky helmet there. So he's set up on the Mon he wants to fight this battle here.
And this Skarmory is going to be able to start getting those Stealth Rocks out. And there's a couple members of Pooney's team that are weak.
And I think he was probably expecting Punny and the Sims to switch there. But Punny just kind of left out the Arcanine here, and I don't think it has a lot of great moves against this Garchomp, but like you said, if it has Play Rough, that could be great. Just
Ooh, chip damage, more and more.
And this is tough because we saw the Outrage do over half, so he's going to have to pull it. Yeah, it goes back to the Skarmory, good call, and the Skarmory will chip him back down, and you'll get a pretty much a free roost here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also curious to see what the defense IVs were on that Garchomp because it took that hit surprisingly well for the attack stat on Arcanine.
Heat Ray coming out, but with the Zapdos, ooh, the discharge instead of the defog there. But he presses Flame Charge trying to just speed up and maybe not. That paralysis proc was pretty big there for the Zapdos.
Yeah, discharge, of course, having a higher probability of hitting paralysis at the cost of a few 10 points BP less than Thunderbolt. So it has its own strategy, trading utility for power, or power for utility.
And switching over to the Hydreigon, but the Blissey here is the perfect Mon to fight the Hydreigon and quickly U-turning out to maybe get a little bit more momentum back on the bad matchup.
The Blissey being an absolute special behemoth, which I'm surprising seeing the Zapdos coming out here in order to, because this Blissey is going to be eating up those special attacks.
Yeah, Blissey typically does Thunder Wave, so I think that's what he was thinking, and he did make that prediction. That is kind of one difference between Blissey and Chansey is Blissey doesn't have to use um, because it can use leftovers. It doesn't necessarily have to use all the move slots dedicated to being a cleric.
Correct. And then Rosie O'Donnell over here using Keelball to clean up all of the statuses, like the paralysis on that Heatran is going to help it go try to do a little sweeping maybe a little later. And this Arcanine doing that sub bringing it to 9% with leftovers.
Yeah, you already saw the sub, and I mean, he wants to probably just press Outrage again. He's not using a lot of those moves that hurt himself, so the sub is still pretty valuable.
Oh, not sure what that double choice onto the sub there was. Is he expecting it to be? Oh, he's choiced, so he's having to. He can't choose any other attacks. Or
Maybe he,
perhaps he's not.
yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there. Maybe he just didn't want to get chipped down on a swap, but um, yeah, interesting. We'll have to ask him afterward. But the Starmie coming out here is fast and can probably take down this Garchomp here. But he's going to go ahead right back to the Reptar. Let's see if he went with the Psyshock. No, he did go with the Scald, but look at that big special defense there.
Yeah, Sand, of course, boosting rock type special defense by 50%. So this Reptar here has quite a high special, quite bulky, going into even a special sweeper like Starmie.
Yeah, and I would have expected to see maybe a Pursuit there, but he pressed Crunch, so he may not have Pursuit. Um,
Oh,
Pursuit
we
is
got the
kind of
pink
that swap.
blobs.
And yeah, here's the swap to the other pink blob. And, you know, I usually like Blissey in this matchup. It just kind of depends on what type of Clefable it is.
And you typically go ahead and see some Toxic to go ahead and try to take out something as tanky as Rosie O'Donnell, but we did see it has Heal Bell, so it could heal it off. Seismic Toss coming in, of course, doing a base amount of damage, so it's not as passive as it could be.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about this matchup here. I mean, you're not taking enough damage to where, yeah, here's the Roost and just heals it back up, but I don't know how much ground you're going to get outside of just pressing Roost over and over again.
Trying to get that paralysis with Discharge, maybe have the pink blob miss a turn here and you maybe get lucky, but I just don't think the damage is going to be hitting this Blissey enough.
Yeah, Hidden Power, not going to do much there on the special wall. The Wish hits, and now you can kind of just press Stone Edge, and who cares who he throws out?
Yeah, it's going to do some significant damage regardless. No one resists Rock on the rest of the remaining team.
Pretty good there, though, taking that Stone Edge there from the Clefable. So you wonder that the Tyranitar is probably not invested. But here comes Heatran, and we're going to see probably maybe a Flash Cannon or the like into this Clefable.
A swap with a Flame Charge into the Dragon that'll resist. That is a surprising choice. I wonder what he was expecting there. Maybe he doesn't have any Steel move on Hot Metal Dog at all.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, and he now sees that the
Hydreigon... there's the flash.
He now sees that the Hydreigon has Earth Power, so he's going to go ahead and swap. Tyranitar doesn't take it as good, but or only 21% is excellent. He must be vested, so that's excellent there for the T-Tar. And just there's another Stone Edge, and there's the big hit on the Starmie. And Starmie's not going to heal up high enough to where another Stone Edge, but the T-Tar can survive a Scald here, so you're fine with that. Just don't get burned.
The burn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and there's the pursuit. The big
nice.
Pursuit. And you can see the power of this Assault Vest T-Tar, but this is a horrible matchup. You got to get back 100%. To something like the Skarmory or the Ghost.
But even if they swap over to that Ghost, I think if we know what Mega
Cloppin's
ability, the Scrappy may end up coming in there.
Yeah, not the Ghost. I guess Skarmory's all you got.
This Lopunny is actually very, very scary for multiple members of the enemy team. That Drain Punch, okay, so at least you now know one move, that it does have recovery via that Drain Punch. But not a whole lot they'll be able to take on this Luffy. apparently.
Yeah, Skarmory is one that can survive, and yeah, there's the survival. Rocky Helm chip, roost back up. Yeah, very, very nice. The Skarmory, again, is probably the best physical wall in the meta, so this is the matchup we were expecting. Yeah, look at that. Just taking it like a champ, just sending the damage back. And oh, an Iron
Okay, Iron
Defense tech.
Defense.
I like that. That is a way to get on top of this low punny here, and that forces the swap. Exactly. Willy Whirlwind, no. Gets the Stealth Rock out, and but that is the momentum he needed. He got the low punny out of there.
Hold on a second. Does this Clefable not have Magic Bounce?
Magic Guard is what
Magic
Clefable
Guard.
has. So he could be unaware, but even if he would just wouldn't take damage, but doesn't send it back. So the Roost heals it up, and he's going back to the Wish, and the Heat Ran had some damage on it. So did the Garchomp. But yeah, just gonna keep doing this, I guess, instead, and just the Wish will do nothing.
Round 2, Usopp versus Rosie O'Donnell. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, and I think that he just doesn't want to swap into the low punny because he doesn't want it to get hit by a seismic toss.
100%. Just trying to get. Well, there's the paralysis.
Even that though, like,
Yeah.
is he just gonna immediate? Nope. He'll do. Yep. You don't even
Natural
need
cure.
to. So the Garchomp gets the wish there, but we'll see what the matchup here. We saw him have a Rocky helmet earlier, so he may be defensive, and
Ooh.
he is defensive. Takes the ice punch really, really well, and misses with the dragon
Oh.
tail.
Really unfortunate luck there. Getting that Lopunny out of there, getting a nice, good random switch could have helped a whole lot. But now, yeah, we definitely know. Oh,
Oh
Oof.
no.
You got to go with
just
the Skarmory there. I think your Skarmory had enough HP to take that.
absolutely, especially when he's swapping into the Scrappy, as we were mentioning, Lopuddy can hit the ghost types, and since Sableye is also a dark type, it means it's actually fighting is super effective against it as opposed to being immune.
Yeah, maybe he just wants the full reset, but no, he decides to swap there. So that was a really weird. He just kind of
Mm-hmm.
gave him some free hits. So yeah, I think he is struggling here to
Oh
figure
no.
out what to do. So he is tilting here. The CTO is apparently tilting, and we'll see what he can do. Here comes Garchomp, and he's not faster than the Lopunny, so it looks like this Lopunny might just sweep the entire team because he didn't go to that Skarmory originally.
Yeah, this Lopunny's just going to be taking out this Sableye with a very quick move. Probably should have just left in the Sableye when it was really low, so you had an even switch. But hindsight be 2020 sometimes.
Yeah, and you had a good position, but just a few too many swaps and double swaps trying to predict things. I think that kind of got you there. Instead of just sticking with one mon and forcing them to make the bad swap into you. So we're going into game 2, and we'll see if the CTO can make an adjustment.
Hopefully, I think now that he has a good idea of what the move sets the enemy team has, he should be able to learn from that. Definitely taking the Mega Lopunny into serious regard going forward. That thing can really put a major dent. So he's definitely going to have to try to remove that. That's his biggest wall, I think, on the enemy team.
Yeah, he has the tech for it. That's the thing. He brought the Iron Defense and he just went away from it because he could have swapped into the Skarmory, taken the hit, and then gotten the Iron Defense off. And instead, or after the Sableye died, but he swapped off the Sableye into the Skarmory instead. So I don't know. Maybe he just kind of forgot midway what he was doing. But here we go. Garchomp sent out, and this is gonna. It did more than half last time, but the rough skin and the Rocky helmet. Let's see what he does. Ooh, just presses Stealth Rock.
Stealth Rock, interesting.
So yeah, he's gonna have to swap, and he goes to the Skarmory here. Outrage, not gonna do much into the Skarmory. Takes more chip damage, and there's the confusion. I think he may just press Whirlwind here and start just spinning.
He left the Arcanine in, so he hurts itself in confusion. Like you predicted, did end up bringing out the Whirlwind, and Zapdos is going to hit with rocks for extra damage since it is flying.
Yeah, and that is pretty much one of the worst ones you can get because it just
Yes.
defogs him away, and he doesn't have the magic bounce enabled yet on the Sableye, so he couldn't have bounced it, and defog may not even bounce. So who knows?
It's a good question. I think I need to look at that.
The evasion would bounce, but I think it still hits everything.
Yes, I believe it does.
Ooh, the knockoff getting rid of the choice scarf, so it will now not be faster than most things. It already has really high special attack, so this is a decent matchup here for the CTO. But now that the knockoff is taking the scarf out of there, oof, still doing great
And
damage.
Sableye, interesting, toxic. I was wondering if the Sableye had play rough as well. Another fairy move that would have been destructive against. Oh, and a Draco Meteor taking out the Mega Sableye.
Yeah, the Sableye is not typically used as a special wall. It looks like he was trying to nail that toxic in there. Um, but Clefable can have, aromatherapy or heal bell, whichever. So yeah, you probably should have just went to the Blissey right when he went to Hydreigon.
Yeah, Blissey would have easily been able to tank that hit. And like you said, yeah, the healing moves on both sides are making statuses not as impactful as they normally would be.
Oof. And just the super powerful Tyranitar, only 14% on the fairy move. And even the Scald won't do a quarter of this thing's HP, stab Scald. So just a lot of power. And there's the pursuit. He got it there. And whoo, big damage there on the pursuit.
All right, now we got the second big blob of the game. We got Clefable up here. Very curious. This a double swap. No more rocks to annoy this Zapdos, so we can probably get some discharges in for some paralysis.
Heatran's another. He's got an interesting setup on it. Yeah, going for the flame charge again. I'm not. He's definitely trying to speed up to try and kill something. But I'm not totally sure what it is yet. But yeah, lands the paralysis and just cancels out that speed boost, and yeah, just it. There goes the plan. So Magma Storm will prevent Zapdos from exiting, but yeah, the paralysis proc there just backbreaking.
And Magma Storm being a move that only Heatran can learn, essentially a much more powerful fire spin by trapping in Zapdos, like you said. So Zapdos just has to go ahead and just keep popping out the discharges and another paralysis proc onto Heatran, resulting in the switch.
Yeah, looks like the CTO just had enough there.
Yeah.
And the discharge, not getting paralysis this time, but stab, electric, move, normal effectiveness, doing very little on the assault vested T-Tar.
Yeah. Interesting with the Magma Storm, the Zapdos was stuck in there, so bringing in Tyranitar earlier probably would have been maybe a better idea getting the stab rock move, but I guess maybe he was just scared of additional paralysis. And then, of course, he swaps into Starmie and gets this even swap. Snarby going down.
Yeah, you gotta get to your Skarmory here. It doesn't look like he's swapping out. Interestingly enough, just deciding to maybe call that sub there. But at this point, the Arcanine can really do a lot of damage. Yeah, and he just kills you.
Wad, super effective, super power onto the Tyranitar. No more sand going to be available. And now this Arcanine. Okay, now we have the Skarmory coming in. Curious to see how he's going to play this. Oh.
And he has the mixed attack just for the Skarmory. Really unfortunate that you didn't
And,
have the sturdy there. So
and now that the Arcanine is above 31%, he could either outrage or substitute with the health, but he go ahead and just takes out the Garchomp with an outrage, taking some residual damage with rough skin.
Yeah, that's tough. And Rosie O'Donnell could also just die right here to the or to the outrage, but no, he doesn't, and survives pretty nicely. Here comes the wish, and the CTO isn't dead yet, but this is going to be a hugely uphill battle. One close combat will just finish you off here. Oh, and it just dies. So now he'll get the reset probably to the low punny, and if one fighting move will probably kill Heat Ren and Blissey.
Yeah, this Mega Lopunny is going to immediately Mega Evolve. Any sort of fighting move against this Blissey is essentially going to be an OKO here. Yep. Oh, it so shockingly survives on one. Gets the paralysis. It's not dead yet.
Yeah, and oh no, no paralysis proc. There's the drain. Got the wish off. We'll see if who who wins the and then one drain punch finishes it off. And there's the match, 2-0
Goddamn.
for the for Lopunny and the Simps. Good
Good
game.
game.